This is Dave from Jungle Rot, and you listen to BODS Mayhem Hour. Come and get some.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today is an honor and privilege to have Dave Matrise. He's the vocalist of Jungle Rot. They have a new single, A Burning Cinder, out now. Also, new self-titled album releases July 20th on Victory Records. And tour kicks off with Havoc. That begins July 23rd. So, Dave, man, excited about the new album. How's it going?
I'm doing good. Thanks for letting me do this. I'm really excited about the new album. I can't wait till it gets out there and people hear it. I don't think they'll be disappointed. I think it's by far some of our best work, and I'm really happy with it, man.
So, I don't want to start this off on a bad question, but I just want to throw this out here a little bit. Now, the new singles, you know, little political stuff like that. Is this album more, let's say, politically for you guys, or no?
No, not at all. That whole thing, it was blown out of proportion with Blabbermouth blowing that up like they do. It has nothing to do with Trump or nothing like that. The Burning Cinder had a little bit about the government. It was more or less, the album is written about, you know, the struggles of life, a little bit of the government, you know, stuff like that. One of our buddies I got, his life took it. It's everyday struggles in life. Blabbermouth totally blew that out of proportion, and I'm not happy about it at all.
See, folks, ask the person who handles the damn albums.
Yeah, exactly. It has nothing to do with that at all. They wrote that subtitle, and it really pissed me off, man. And it is what it is, man. Now I got this, I'm kind of branded like a Nazi American or something.
That's crazy. That's so crazy.
Yeah, that just shows you can't believe everything that's in the press, because I'm living proof right here, man. That was totally made up in that way, and they totally did that, man.
There you go. That's from Dave himself, out of his mouth. It was made up, not true. So, what's impressed you the most about making the new album? Well, what's caught your eye about it, if anything, man? What sticks out the most for you?
Well, for me personally, it's hitting double digits and making 10 CDs in my career. I mean, I can't, you know, I'm looking back when I started this in 95, who would have thought I would have made it to 10 CDs, you know, and that's just the biggest honor in itself, is hitting that achievement. And also having our old drummer, Jesse Beeler. He did the recording for us. I think I made some of the greatest albums with him back in the past. I did Kill on Command with him and Terror Regime, and I'm glad he was aboard on this one, because it just really rounded it off well.
Yeah, let's talk about the 10th album from you guys. To me, that speaks volumes, because bands are lucky to even have 2 albums back to back.
Well, it's something different with the bands today, in my mind. I mean, the bands today are disposable. You know, they're like Facebook bands, man. They're around for 1 or 2 years, and then, in my opinion, I think Facebook gets involved, and then it all becomes about me. The guitar players follow my page, and I think that's what divides bands up, and they don't make any more albums than 1 or 2, because they just become the band themselves. They're the biggest, and they're bigger than the band themselves on Facebook. And versus us, you know, like Obituary and everybody else, we're in it for the long haul. You know, we're the old school, and we fight the fight, and there's a big difference in this, you know. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does. But on the good side, though, do you think it helps out the bands, though, that's trying to get out there? I mean, just to be known, just to get their music out and not say, "Oh, follow me," but just do it in the right way.
It definitely has a plus on, absolutely, if it's used like that. But you have to agree, you know how I'm saying, there's a point in the band that these disposable bands, I like to call them, that eventually they end up going their own direction. Mm. A lot of them, don't they?
True. You didn't like my page.
And they break us.
If you didn't like my page, I'm not going to like your page. I want a new band.
Exactly. It's all about me, follow me. I did this. And I think that has a lot to do with disposing these bands. I really did. They're not, you know, there's no brotherhood in it like there is, you know, we've been doing this for so long, and, you know, I got the same 2 guys with me for now over 15 years. And I think that's the biggest thing today. And the challenge is finding the same people that have the same goals and the same dreams that you share, you know, to do that.
How long did it take to record this self-titled album from you guys?
The recording actually didn't take long. We did that in 4 weeks. We could have did it quicker, but my studio guy, Chris DeJurek, actually slowed us down. I mean, Yeah, we had it start to finish in 4 weeks, man.
Do you see it easier for you guys recording wise? I mean, I know you guys have been around for a long time, but do you see it becoming easier and more flowing for you guys to record the albums now? Or do you see it challenging sometimes?
No, I think when we go in to record, it's usually pretty easy for us because we're very prepared and we know exactly what we want. We make a lot of pre-demos and, everything's in place when we go in there. We won't go in place until we have it all structured and ready to go, and that's what makes it a lot easier. Exactly what you're going to lay down instead of trying to make stuff up in the studio and burn a lot of time that's useless,
Who produced this album, Dave?
We had Dan Swan do the mixing and mastering. I mean, I'm really happy about that. We did a different take on this one because I used to mix and master all the other ones with Chris the Jerk. We did all our recordings with him, all the past, and I think this time around we needed a fresh set of ears on it, and we had a little bit bigger budget, and I took somebody out, and we took Dan out. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's very good, man.
Working with him, did he push you guys pretty hard, or did he just let you go your own way and then step in, or how'd you guys work all this out?
He let us do our thing, man. I mean, that's what it is, and then he came in there and just mixed it up good and master it. I mean, you've heard it, right? I mean, how's it sound to you?
Sounds good. It sounds really good.
I mean, being as a fan of the band, I mean, how do you compare it from like the last one, if you can remember? Is it louder, hotter? I mean, it should be all of that, I mean,
it sounds more heavier. It sounds more eviler, I should say.
That's what you want. Yep, that's a good sign. No, we're really happy to work with them. I mean, it was nice to get a little bit more money on the budget, and we, since we had that, we, got a guy that got a good name, and I'm happy we did that. We needed it. The timing was right. It's our 10th CD, and I think it was time to have somebody else put their ears on it, and it's a good choice.
Are there any songs off the album that stand out more to you as of right now? I mean, I know these are like picking your favorite child or a collectible, but any stand out for you possibly?
I actually like every one of them, man. I was fighting to do the whole entire album from front to back on this tour, but we're going to wait till the next one. We're going to actually do the whole entire album front to back. That's how much I like it. But for me to stand out on this new one, I love Burning Cinder. I love Send Forth Oblivion. I mean, I think those are two of my favorites. We're actually going to be releasing the video of Send Forth Oblivion next Thursday. It's going to be dropping, so that'll be out.
This album's like a roller coaster, and I like that. A lot of albums, they don't do that no more. But I like this. I like the flavor you guys have brought with this one. Yeah, well, that's everything we've always done. I've always, when I write my albums, I don't know if you ever read it, I always try to write my albums where the person's never really heard of death metal before, and I envision them coming in the door and checking us out and seeing us, and all of a sudden he's standing, and I see it every night. People that don't know us, and they're standing there watching, and all of a sudden you could see them, they're tapping their foot, and the next thing they're doing, they're banging their head, you got them, and then the next thing they're banging their fists, and then what's after that, they're in the pit. And I always try to write my music easy, so it's real easy for somebody to catch it and enjoy it. I always keep that in mind, and when I write them, and I always think there's a good variety of songs where there's going to be at least 2 or 3 where they're going to like them. Instead of having an album from song 1 to 10 that all sound the same, and that's very common today, is it not? True, very true.
I always keep that in mind and write it. I never want them. I always try to have a variety, and I think I achieve that every time.
Since this is the 10th album, Dave, do you see yourself in the band growing musically, or has it just been more just of a personal growth for each of you guys? I know having the drummer back with this album and everything. Every album, too, I write. As I go in, I try to be better than the last, to try to, get as many fans as I can for the next one. I always try to push the level a little bit more, but I always keep our style, what we are. I think that's important. I think, you should be applauded for that, to staying so true to your style and not being contaminated to what's hot today or whatever flavors out there today as well. That's a hard thing to do today in the business. Mm-hmm. Do you do anything differently personally during the writing or recording process to maybe help keep your mind fresh and open to not let the music get stale, not go down a path that you don't want to go down again?
Yeah, absolutely. People take this wrong, but I don't listen to a lot of music, man. I think, from being on the road and, constantly playing music at home and writing, and, I'm around loud stuff all the time. And I think not by listening, I still listen to music, don't get me wrong, but I don't listen to it like I was a kid where I just have to have it in the car 24/7 jamming it. It just seems like the older I get, it's a little bit harder to try to enjoy music. But I think in the benefit in the long run is that it keeps me true to myself, and it doesn't steer me off packages, into a different direction.
Speaking of that, getting older and things with music, are there any bands out there that's impressed you here lately, or anything possibly maybe?
Yeah. I love the new, Skeletal Remains. I don't know if you heard them.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that band. I can't get enough of them. I like that Necrot. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're great. A lot of the up-and-comers, I'm very aware with all the up-and-comers, man. I'm really involved with it. I mean, I like the new, it seems like there's a new age of death metal coming around, and it's the right death metal. It's the old school death metal wave that's coming now, not this new death metal that they took to this level that's like insanity of grind and everything else, noodling, I'd like to call it. Or pinball. A lot of people like to call it pinball music. That's been used pretty much a lot too. But yeah, it seems like it's revolving back to the old school death metal tone, and and I like that a lot, man, because we're here, and I hope that's the way it goes, and we might be able to benefit on this somehow, capitalize a little bit more.
What can fans expect at a show from Jungle Rot who have not got to see you guys live as of yet?
Blood? No, maybe a possible neck. You heard your neck will hurt in the morning. I can guarantee that. I mean, that's a for sure thing. I mean, I'm definitely going to get them heads banging, and you'll say to yourself that goddamn he's right, man. My neck is killing me in the morning.
Now, we talked about the social media side of the way that we are right now. Now, what about the digital era of recording albums and getting out there quicker? Do you like that part or no?
That's tough, man. Let's be realistic here. The whole internet and everything killed the music and bands in general. We know that, man, because of the stealing and everything else. But then in the benefit, it gets the music out there for the people to hear. There is a plus to it, and then the music gets out there, and then we get the tour, so then we can make the money up on the touring, I guess, and the merch. So it kind of goes half and half, if you know what I mean. But I think it's a good thing. I think, anytime you can get your music out there to be heard, that's all a musician really wants in the long run is, to have it heard, and it's the biggest thing. What
does Jungle Rot bring to the table for music that's quite not out there as of right now, if anything possibly?
I don't know if we bring anything to the table. We just do what we do. We're started in 95, and like I said before, there's not too many of us doing this style left, so that's kind of a good thing. There's something to say about an old school death metal. When you see the real deal, it's the real thing, like us and Obituary and a few more. I mean, there's something to say about the old school. I mean, you have to be from it to bring it, I guess.
For you, man, what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, that's what I want to do right there?
Well, that's a good one. I mean, I grew up, I was into Ted Nugent, and he really got me into music, but I really didn't want to start being in a band until the day I seen Creator down in Chicago. And I remember seeing Creator, I forget what year it was a Terribly Certainty tour, so it had to be somewhere around 88 or 89, I would bet. And I remember watching Creator, and they were actually with Corner back then. It was a great bill, and I remember leaving that day and saying, I'm going to join it. I'm going to start a band. I'm getting a guitar, and my dad got me a guitar, and I never took a lesson. I started playing, and I learned how to play. You'd get the crunch going, and once I got the crunch going, I was just on my way. I remember I was writing songs within 2-3 months. I had a band, and I was just naturally writing songs. And to this day, it's a natural gift that I have that I can just write on the spot, man. It's a beautiful thing. I never have a problem writing. It naturally flows. I mean,
support-wise, is there a location or a country that surprises you that you guys still get support from or gotten support from?
We've been a lot of places, man. I mean, I think there's underground everywhere. I mean, it is everywhere. The metal scene is everywhere. I mean, I guess I expect it to be there. I mean, I think it should be there, right?
Sure.
But we've been a lot of places. Like last year, we went to Nicaragua. I mean, it was crazy there, all through Panama and everything else. I mean, there's metal everywhere, man. It's one big family, and they appreciate it a lot, man.
Is there a show or a moment that stands out for you being part of Jungle Rot that kind of solidifies Jungle Rot's, I guess, legacy, or just something that made you proud to be part of this band that you couldn't believe, what was going on at that time?
No, I think the biggest achievement that I achieved in my career at Jungle Rot is playing a lot of the bigger festivals in Europe, especially like Brutal Assault. I mean, we played that a few years back. I think it was 2015, and there was 20,000 there. When you play them kind of, festivals. It's unreal, man. It's everything that you fought for. It just all comes together, man, and it just makes everything worth it,
And I would say just as soon as you guys struck the first note, that was it. They was all into it, doing the death metal vocals, everything, and you probably didn't even have to sing, to be honest with you, Dave.
Yeah.
Because I love how they are so passionate overseas with, for metal music. It really gives us hope of more proud metalheads, man.
I hate to say it, man. I love America, and I think, who knows? I mean, there's always going to be an underground scene for something in the States. There's always going to be 200 kids. That's usually the average show. But I think in the future, who knows? I think Europe's going to be the only one that's going to really hold the torch in the end. I mean, it's never going to go away there. They're still jamming Twisted Sister. It's just to the end. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just, they don't let it go. I mean, you play a show, you do a show and they're lined up outside. I mean, you just don't see that stuff around here, That's how passionate they are. There's nothing better than seeing lines outside the venue, man. I mean, the night starts out well when you see that.
Now, we lost an iconic musician, Vinnie Paul Abbott, drummer of the mighty Pantera, Hell Yeah, Damage Plan, and Rebel Meets Rebel. Do you have any good memories possibly meeting Vinnie, or any stories that you'd like to share possibly?
I do. Yeah, I do. I know Vinnie well. We had the chance to tour with him in 2015 on the Mayhem Fest. And, we lost a good one. That guy was a very special guy. I mean, he'd have every other night, he'd have these huge barbecues, man. He loved to cook. He'd cook for everybody all night. He'd invite everybody. I mean, almost the whole Mayhem staff and everybody, he'd always invite over to his bus. And I mean, he would literally have massive Louisiana, cookouts, man. I mean, it's unbelievable. Crawfish and all that stuff, man. He loved to take care of people. I mean, he was a very special person, and we lost a good one, man. I mean, he always thought about everybody, man. He was that kind of a guy. I mean, if people didn't know him, I mean, it's a shame because he would have wanted to know you. I mean, we lost a good one there, man.
I'm very blessed, and I'm very, very lucky. And I thank the Lord above that I got to actually meet Vinnie for a couple of minutes, and I got a photo with him. And very nice guy, just a very down-to-earth guy, man. And
yeah, he's no different than me and you, man. I mean, that's what I was getting at. He's a very, very lovable guy, and he would do anything for anybody, man. I mean, we really lost a good one, man. It's a shame, man. It's scary in itself, man. I mean, it's just because I'm getting up there in age myself now, man. I'm 48 years old, and when I was younger, your buddies were dying from, drinking and driving and getting in accidents. Now I'm at that age where it's all health issues, and I'm hearing we just lost Brett Hoffman last week.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like every month we're losing a metal guy now, and they're all in my age bracket within 5 or 6 years, man. And I'm really terrified, man.
Yeah, it's scary. It really does. And God forbid, I hope nothing ever happens to you, man, brother, Never.
Yeah, I really take care of myself, man. I take it, really personal. It's hard to compete with the youth, so I would always stay in shape and look good. In my profession, you got to stay young somehow, and I just try to really take care of myself. I take it really serious, man. I don't know what happened with Billy Paul. I mean, I heard he had a heart attack. I mean, could that be from not going to doctors and checking yourself, or could that have been the years of, abuse that he did early on in his career? I mean, we'll never know,
Yeah, I'm not a big religious guy, but the only one who knows when it's your time is the man upstairs. So
yeah, you're right on that too, man. I mean, it's so weird how both the brothers died young, man. One was just a freak fucking deal. We know that. Sorry,
yes.
but
no, you're fine. You're fine.
It's crazy though, man. I mean, we lost some heroes there.
Yeah, I was actually driving to a job interview when the news came across my little radio here in Kentucky about Dimebag Darrell being killed on stage. I had to pull off on the side of the road. It shook me that bad.
Oh, yeah.
So.
It was, being metal brothers, like I said, it's a one big family. I mean, it hits personal. I mean, they all hit personal to me. I mean, I toured with Brett Hoffman. I mean, I known him well. I mean, everyone. I mean, I just, the sad thing about it, one day it's going to be me, man.
Yeah. And I want to give a big shout out to Bruce Corbett from War Beast who has not gave up.
Oh yeah. I heard he's doing good though now. He's doing good.
Yeah. So there you go, folks. You never fucking give up. You never.
That's right.
It don't matter if they say you got cancer or not. It's like I said before. The man upstairs knows when it's your time. You fight. You fight.
Yeah.
You fight. So.
And he's fought that for many years now. This has been like how many years now? He's been
a couple of years for sure.
5. I bet you 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it a while ago. I mean, that's great, man. He's doing good. I'm an old rigor mortis fan, you know.
Oh yeah,
that's what I grew up on. I mean, I grew up on rigor mortis and all that, you know.
That's old school stuff right there, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Good stuff from back in the day.
I used to play in a band called Numbskull back in the day. I don't know if you ever heard them. I mean, we're pretty well known. I mean, and one of the tours we did was Death Angel, Rigor Mortis, and us, man. I'll never forget that, man. That was an unbelievable tour.
That's fucking awesome, man. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Folks, Jungle Rot's self-titled. This is their 10th album that's coming out July 20th. Get out and check them out. Don't buy just this album. Buy the other albums. Check them out. They also have their tour that kicks off with Havoc on the 23rd. So just please get out and support these guys. Give them some love. Dave, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise, tour dates, tickets. How can they do that? You know, any social site. I bet you can just punch in Jungle right now and Google it, and it's going to come up, man. You know that. I mean, it's everywhere. Mm-hmm. Any Victory Records or anything. But, yeah, you just punch it up, Google it, and you're going to find what you're looking for. There's no doubt about it. Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for my show? Sure. This is Dave from Jungle Rot, and you listen to BODS Mayhem Hour. Come and get some. Yeah. Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Get out, get off your ass, go check out Jungle Rot, go to Google, type it in Facebook. You should find some type of music from them. Hell, go to YouTube and check them out. Yeah, that's what it is, YouTube, yeah. And be prepared for the new video. It's going to drop Thursday. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave, for doing this interview, man. Yeah, no problem. I hope we can get down there and we can meet sometime. If we ever get scheduled down there or anywhere close, just hook up, contact Victory, and we'll get you on the list, bro. Not a problem. Yeah, that sounds good to me, man.